Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College. I'm Dave Yates. It is time now for the High School Notebook, brought to you by Dunkin. America runs on Dunkin. And joining us once again this week is Matt Trabold. And Matt, great to have you back.
Thanks for having me on.
So, Matt, let's start talking football. Let's talk Class A in Canandaigua. Look at the Braves coming from a 5 seed in the sectionals, and here they are going to Syracuse.
Now, I need to preface this talk with the fact that the Rochester media members were told right before the game by an unnamed Buffalonian, they're like, South Park's going to beat Canandaigua 47-0. But hey, you just mentioned a second ago, this is a pretty Cinderella postseason run. The 5 seed in Class A, Canandaigua, they dominate this game against a favorite opponent. I think first half, the story was the play of the sophomore quarterback, Brian Boldrin. He had just the first quarter, a couple of passing touchdowns, including 29 yards out. He laced a thread in stride to Joey Urlacher. And then in the second half, the offense big time really came from the power back and their three-headed monster out of the backfield, and Zach Wantuck, who I talked about a week ago. I mean, this kid is such a big story because he, for 3 straight games late in the season, did not get 1 carry for the Braves. I don't really blame him. They have a couple other good running backs. He was doing very well blocking duty as a fullback, and it's so impressive. The kid has grinded to be a superstar in 2 games in a row now in the postseason, and in this game, in the third quarter, he had a big touchdown with a wild stiff arm, dive into the end zone, and then he set up a field goal to really put the game away. Later on, in terms of getting down with another big run to the 5-yard line, this kid is nuts. I mean, what a big story. And the fact that the entire team as a 5 seed gets so far.
Well, it's great, too, because they have so many weapons, but at the same time, it starts up front. That line is just, they dominate, it seems like, when they want to and when they need to.
And a lot of those guys aren't even two-way guys in terms of, I mean, you have J.C. Clifford 6'5", Ryan Welsh 6'6", and they don't even really do too much on offense. They really get to save their bodies for the defensive side of the ball and to be dominating on both sides there. And to have that kind of depth, not just in terms of quality, to have some good guys, but have so many kids be good and can contribute, and that really helps the longevity in a game of a lot of these kids.
And a disclaimer going into this weekend, if you want to go to McQuaid, you might want to take your antacid beforehand because they are doing nothing the simple way.
Absolutely. A week after in the sectional title game, they come back from 2 touchdowns down to beat their heated rival, Aquinas, for the second time in a year, which just has not happened in so long. They do it again in the regionals against Lancaster, down 2 touchdowns, come back to win by 4, and they did it again with the running game on the defensive side of the ball. On top of that, I think the really big turning point in this game was Lancaster's up 2 touchdowns, second quarter. They are in McQuaid territory. They just recovered, I think, a very planned and a very smart onside kick attempt, and driver's seat for the Legends there, but Tim Oberlees picks off a pass, cliffs it 62 yards down to the opposing 16-yard line, and right away McQuaid scores. So that is a huge point in the game. Another little turning point happens in the third quarter. They are able to, down 11, defensive line again coming up big, like I talked about for a second a week ago. They recover a fumble, so that's a huge point in the game. And talk about the running game. I've said it time and time again, and I've learned time and time again, I will never question the toughness of Andrew Passero. He was dealing with a lower body injury in this one, and when he was not in the field, he was having a lot of trouble walking, definitely had a limp on the sidelines. They brought an exercise bike for him. He was on that constantly on the sidelines when he wasn't in, when the McQuaid defense was on the field, trying to work through it. But when he was inside the lines, in between those lines, he ran really behind the adrenaline train for a pair of really gasp-inducing touchdown runs, including the game winner with 5 minutes left. This kid's nuts.
Yeah, that's great to see. It's great to see how much this means to these kids at this time of the year. Thanks, Matt. As always, great stuff. We're back with more of the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College right after this.